Hello everyone, this is Angela here, and tonight I'm going to be talking about the narcissistic personality disorder. And tonight's topic is going to be on my final thoughts with regard to my visit with my narcissistic mother. Some of the commenters pointed out some pretty interesting things, and I just wanted to share it all with you guys. And how I actually feel in the present day with regard to the visit. First of all, I like to tell everyone the reason why I decided to go visit my narcissistic mother with my son Patrick and my sister Geraldine, Jerry, is for two reasons. Number one, I did it more so for Patrick because he felt the need to confront his grandmother about what happened on July 31st, 2009. After the police came and arrested him that day because, of the events that went down, he never had the chance to confront his grandmother. He hasn't seen her since July 31st, 2009. And he really felt the need to do that, and I had agreed to go with him to do that. But another reason why I went to go see my narcissistic mother was to help my sister Geraldine. And to figure out what this is about with my narc mother and her relationship with my sister Jerry. Okay? So, the truth is, with regard to Jerry and my narcissistic mother, Geraldine has been the one reaching out to her. She's been the one who was calling her and pushing for visits to go see her and keeping the communication together. It wasn't the other way around because, as everyone kind of saw, my mother basically has no interest. The most pertinent points of the visit that I gathered after reviewing the videos was, number one, she was more interested in her bingo game than she was with having the visits. Number two, she did not, when she got in a conversation with that man, she was more interested in that man's business and what was going on in his life than she was in her kid's life. And that was one really dangerous component about my mother's narcissistic personality disorder. My mother has done this with all sorts of people. She will go up to random people and ask them, very, very impertinently, ask them questions that are inappropriate and basically violations of their boundaries. And some of these people don't catch that. They just see it as somebody being inquisitive, and they'll comply and tell her things. And then there's other people out there like Tito who saw this as a blatant opportunity to take advantage of her. And unfortunately, for somebody like her, she's too dangerous to be in the outside world, okay? Because she would have no problem with hooking up with such an individual and committing a crime. She knew what she did in 2009, and Geraldine had pointed out that during her prior visits with my mother kept asking for Tito. So that alone indicates that she had no interest. She was not repentant. of what had happened and basically thought that it was no big deal. But I think I pretty much covered that in the last video. But another one of my commenters had mentioned that she told God to forgive her for whatever it is that she had done. She didn't acknowledge that she had done anything wrong. It wasn't her fault. She's too sick and dying, and it's all about her. But the saddest part of all, and I mean the absolute saddest part of all, was she casually asked about my sister Natalie as if she was some acquaintance. And I'm making this video because I want everybody to know exactly how ill my youngest sister Natalie is. My sister Natalie was hit by a car, on a major highway in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on December 13th, 2008. She was crossing the Roosevelt Boulevard and a car going about 40 miles per hour had hit her. She flew up in the air. Her head hit the windshield, split her head open. She had fallen to the ground. Her pelvis was broken. She had critical injuries to the point where we did not know whether or not she would live. And not only that, the doctors did save her life, but they did not know if they were going to save her leg. And by the grace of God, by some miracle, her leg was saved. And after that time, my sister found out that her kidney had a very large stone in it. And she was having some severe pain, and this was all during the course of the winter 2008, from December until 2009. She was in and out of the hospital for kidney trouble. And after this all went down in July 2009, starting with the restraining order on June the 23rd, 2009, all the way up to July 31st. My sister was so sick, she left Philadelphia for good and moved to Massachusetts, got married and everything. But over the years, the doctors could not save her kidney, and she had to have it removed. Her health is very poor, and she lives with her husband and his family. And she's basically abandoned her family here because of what my mother did. And this is the reality of the ignoring narcissist. I think that was the most traumatic thing that I've seen during the course of this reunion with my narcissistic mother. To basically act indifferent towards your own child who had critical injuries just months before all of this crap went down, and who was still in the recovery process, walking with a cane, and subsequent thereto continues to have serious health injuries. No remorse, no tenderness, no caring, no nothing. I finally got convinced my sister Geraldine, after, having her watch the videos and pointing out, that my mother's conversation was all about herself, that I think she finally understands that it's time to move on, and that we have to accept our narcissistic mother for who she is and to live our own lives with our loved ones as we continue to rebuild from narcissistic abuse. It's never easy for any of us, the children of narcissists, because as Ollie Matthews says, even though the narcissist is a human being, it's like a machine. It has no feelings. It has no empathy. It has nothing. It's basically a machine. And if my videos do not show the truth of what it's like to be a child of a narcissist, then I don't know what can convince you guys. But I know that many of you get it. And I'll tell you one thing, my viewers are sharp as a tack because they picked up on things that I overlooked. And I also want to say thank you to the community for your support and for helping me to cope with what has happened. Because prior to the internet and being a part of this community, I just didn't understand what the hell this was. And I thought that I was in a world of my own, that nobody else in this world had these type of problems but me. We may have different types of narcissists in our lives, different types of relationships that we had. And I just want to say that it's not about hate. It's not about hate. It's about the deep emotional wounds that the narcissists inflict on each and every one of our lives. But it's comforting to know that there are good people and that we must go on. We must go on to live happy lives, that we have to accept what has happened to us. But we can't let what happened to us destroy our faith in love, forgiveness, and humanity. Otherwise, they win. And I refuse to be destroyed. I want to thank you all again and have a great night.